Thank you all for joining us today on this very exciting occasion. We are joined by General Manager and President of Soccer Operations, Karina LeBlanc, as well as our newly named permanent head coach, Rob Gale. Karina, I'll allow you to introduce Rob and kind of talk about how this process started and what has led us to today.
Cool. Is this your good side?
I don't know if I've got a good side. I'll probably have to face the other way.
Thank you all for showing up today. An exciting day for our club, obviously. Really excited to announce our head coach, Rob Gale. It's been a beautiful journey. 2023, he came an assistant head coach. Obviously, we knew that he had that head coach experience. He's come in the interim, 12 games, 8 wins, records at the club. Obviously, we know at this club it's important to earn a position. And I remember when we had this thing, he said, he's like, I'm going to make it hard on you. I said, you better. And we did a global search. Global search started pretty soon after him being in the interim, went across all continents, hired a third-party company, spent some time going through data. Then we went through interview processes. Rob had to go through the interview processes. We had to pretend we actually would be like on the calls, did a couple Zoom calls pretending that he was not just in the same building, but it led us to this incredible moment. And as a club, we are so happy. We look forward to the future together. He's coming off of having been dumped with water by the players. So this morning, the cheers from the players group, we had some of the players over in Paris on the phone. Everybody's pretty excited, but that's enough about me. I just want to welcome Rob Gale as our new head coach. Woo! I'll just do it on my own. Thank you. Standing ovation, everybody. Thank you very much.
Thank you. And before we open it up for questions, Rob, if you could just kind of share how you're feeling and how it feels to be the head coach of the Portland Thorns.
Yeah, obviously, absolutely delighted. I want to express my thanks to obviously the Buffal family, everybody involved, Karina, Mike, who obviously brought me here a year ago to lead to this moment. And then having gone through the interview process and 3 stages of interviews and everything else, it's a proud moment for me and my family. It's an exciting time. The players, obviously, everybody in the building, the staff, the players, top to bottom, ownership, have been a family since I first arrived, and since I've taken the job on the interim basis. And I wouldn't be here without all of them. I said that to the players this morning. You know, their buy-in, their performances have led to me getting the opportunity to take it forward now. And now we're excited with all the things happening in the club, the vision going forward, the shared vision that we all have to make this the premier destination for women's football worldwide. I think it's a great time to be involved in the game. And obviously, we are the flagship club in women's world football worldwide. So it's a great honor for me to be able to hopefully continue the development and growth of the game and this football club going forward.
Thank you, Rob. We'll start with Nick.
Rob, you wouldn't be here today if the players didn't support you and talk to Karina and really have your back. So what's the significance of that everybody in that locker room wants you to have this job?
Yeah, I mean, huge, obviously. And managing people, I think, is one of my great strengths. And they're a terrific group, as I've said time and time again. I have such faith in the players, their performance, getting to know them as people first and foremost. It's a great group that has evolved since I've been here and continues to get better and will continue to get better and stronger. You know, when you're living away from your family and you got family on different sides of the pond, the amount of time we spend together, it really is, these guys are my family and they've had my back since day one. I've got theirs, and, you know, together we're going to do great things going forward.
And I don't know that when you arrived over a year ago, you would have even expected what this place would mean to you, but everything you went through to have both the mics in your corner and to take you into their house and to now be here on this podium as the lead dog. I mean, you got to have a moment to go. I mean, you can't write a script, right?
No, I did take a moment to sort of take stock on that journey, and you guys have shared like with that story with me. And yeah, it's just humbling, honestly. Humbled and honored to be a part of the organization. They've been so good to me. Karina, Jace, like you say, Mike, Vanessa, Mike, Nat, the families, everybody top to bottom, Merritt, Heather, and now obviously the Bethal family and their extended families, yeah, you take a deep breath, and I realize how lucky I am every day anyway, just to be healthy and happy and doing something I love and enjoy, and then to get to do it with the quality of people around me. It's a great privilege, and yeah, we're excited to move forward and to happy times ahead.
And Karina, what stability does this bring now, knowing that all the changes with the ownership and different coaches now, that does it feel like this is what the Thorns are as we move into the new future?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely turned the corner at the beginning of the year with the Bethals coming in, and having Rob as an intern. One of the things we talked about was the stability in the locker room and what he brings to this club. You guys see him on the sidelines as motivator, but he's a leader. He collaborates with the staff. He helps people bring the best out of themselves, and I think that's one of the things is that obviously we talked about the record. He's made records at the club, but it's also what he does to add to the vision. And we finally get to start having long-term conversations now. I think in the past, we've kind of been focused short-term, like game to game, but now we get to sit down and look at that 3-year strategy of like, how do we really become that premier club in this world and take this club to a whole different level and have that blank canvas, that meeting of like, what can we do together, which is so exciting. And I think our energy together is a lot, but I think that's what is exciting about this opportunity. The Bethal family came in and had their vision clear, but now we are putting the pieces together where players see the day in and day out, but now we can really start to plan long-term.
When Rob got the interim job, you didn't know how the team would perform under him. So what was your expectations, I guess, 3 months ago?
I kind of touched upon it. I was like, make this a hard decision for us. And he's like, I'm going to make it the hardest decision. And it not only like in this process, after he had the 6 wins, it would have been easy at that time to say, this is our person. But it was so important with ownership to make sure that all the stakeholders knew that we wanted to go through this process, that we wanted to make a long-term plan with our head coach. And it was good because, I mean, we had a loss. We went through adversity together, and then figuring out how we deal with it, how the club deals with it, how he's with the players, and he stayed consistent. He's a leader, he's a motivator, but most importantly, he really understands what it means to be a part of this club. I mean, you see him, he's out there with the fans. He's wearing his green suits, but most importantly, what you guys don't get to see is him in that locker room speaking to the players. What you don't get to see is him. You see him on this, bringing the staff up, making them feel a part of it. And I have to give credit to the entire technical staff as well. They've been incredible, and how they've bought into him as an intern, how they've actually come together tighter. I think this actually made your group even tighter and stronger together. And that was one of the things moving forward was this is a position that's earned, right? Every part of the Portland Thorns is earned. My position is earned. We're stewards to the city. We're stewards to this club. But he made us know that I'm ready for this. I think the fans have been ready for this. The players have been ready for this. And I think at this point, we finally all get to say we're all ready for this.
Rob, you said that in your eyes, this is the greatest professional women's soccer club in the world. Just knowing that you are now in charge of this team that you think is the best in the entire world. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's pretty cool, isn't it? Let's be honest. You gotta be happy with that. But no, look, I'm super proud. Football's a long journey, and I've had over 200 games as a head coach across youth, men's national teams, all the way up to Olympic levels, professional, being a head coach, being a general manager. And I don't think people really quite know until they experience it how good it is here, and coming in and speaking to Mike and Karina, and obviously I knew of the club and its rich history and everything. But when you're here and you're here at Providence Park and the fans are behind you as they have been since that Houston game with me, there really is nothing quite like it. And you have to experience that. And we hear it from players that we talk to from other clubs and how hard it is to come and play at Providence Park. And players who've been here and the history and the leadership I have in that dressing room always talk about what it means to be a Thorn. And once a Thorn, always a Thorn, right? And to have the opportunity to lead in such an exciting time for the game in general and in North America, as well as the club and everything that's happening, the blueprint with the future of the training facility. You know, so many exciting things are happening. So to be placed with the trust to take that vision forward, there's the strategic plan, the vision, and build something really special on what already is, in all of our eyes, the best club. You know, it's an honor, a privilege, and something that I'm really proud and grateful for the opportunity.
You mentioned, or Karina mentioned, that you just met with the players. What was that experience like, being able to tell them that you were it?
I'll let Karina tell them because I'd have probably got more emotional. But yeah,
You know,
awesome.
we did it this morning, and we had some of the players calling in, and we just said, you know, we've been through this search, and Rob's the person, and there was an eruption, and that's what we were talking about after. I go, that was pretty cool, because obviously you know it, but it wasn't like, yeah, it was like, it was a celebration, and I think that's a testament to him as a human being, because he's made all the players buy in. You know, sometimes you have a starting 11 or 12. He's used the rotation of the roster. He's making sure to meet with the players. He's making everybody buy into this idea and this vision of what we want to be at this club. And that reaction was across the board, and the staff was there too. And then after practice, he got dumped with water. You know, I mean, it's truly a special day for our club. And, you know, ahead of the game coming up this weekend, it's even players called in from over in Paris. So this is not just a random thing. This is something that's special to everybody. And I felt honored to be in that room.
And I haven't named the lineup for the weekend, so it was unanimous. It was a great response. That was clever tactically on my behalf. No, just kidding. No, honestly, like, humbling. You know, when players are cheering for you, and I told them I wouldn't be here without them. They are my family. You know, the amount of work they do, and tactically what we put them through, and the evolution of where we want to go, and all the things that we work on, and we constantly ask of them, and they've responded at every turn. And yeah, I was really grateful for the response, and it's a vindication of everybody at the club, you know, that we're in this position right now, all working together, all behind each other, and that's what we're going to need to take the club forward.
Jeremy on Zoom, I believe you had a question.
Hi, Rob. Congratulations on getting the full-time job. This is a question for you both. There's already been an incoming signing with Mackenzie Arnold. Have you two had a chance to sit down and discuss any further transfer plans for this summer?
Have we ever? No, I think that's what I said. I was excited about having those longer term conversations, because even in those signings, Rob was a part of those conversations. I think we are one tight group as a staff. I mean, we're transparent with each other. He knew about what was going on. He knows the plans we have for this upcoming transfer window, but now we get to look beyond just this transfer window. So yeah, I mean, we probably speak every day, twice a day. So I think this is just a continuation of that, but it's exciting now to start to actually think long-term, and all the different fun things we can do with the players coming in, the players he's excited about, and a continuation of what's happened at the club.
Yeah, and obviously you've got Karina, you've got Mike Norris, we've got Mike Smith, we got Lee Merricks. They do all the hard work behind the scenes, and working and identifying the targets and everything else. And especially as the interim, you know, my job was to control the dressing room and to work with those guys and try and get the best out of the team. And as we move forward, you know, we'll continue the dialogue. But I know we've got a great team working to build the best possible squad in such a competitive league, in such a competitive market. We're always looking for that next advantage, and where that may be. So I'm happy to have these guys on my side, and to be giving me the best. Well, I'm giving her a headache about who she should select as a head coach. Obviously, she's giving me headaches about who I need to select on the weekend. So that's what you want as a head coach.
Do you have any follow-ups, Jeremy?
No, I do not. Once again, congrats, Rob.
Thank you.
Luke, take it home.
And then just curious, Karina, just how involved Lisa and Alex Bethal were in this process as well.
Yeah, I mean, they've been great since the beginning. They were very clear that we were going to make this a global search. So we hired that third party company, and it's been a lot of meetings and, you know, having weekly updates, and they were involved in the final process. Obviously, Rob had his final interview, and just understanding what Rob 2.0 is going to look like. And yeah, they are a very invested ownership group. You know, it's not like they're from afar. I speak to them quite often, almost every day, which is exciting. But just even throughout the process that I talked about, after the 6 wins, one of the big things we said was like, okay, this is great, but we need to make sure by the end of this, everybody knows that we've interviewed coaches across Europe. I mean, we waited through the European window, spoke to several coaches there, made sure it was an inclusive search, making sure there's diversity in all of it. So we've gone through an extensive process so that when we're here, and if there's to be a tough period of 1 loss, we still know he's our guy. No, but like, I think one of the biggest things is we knew that moving forward, this hire would be important, and this is a long-term hire, and it's not something where, you know, ebbs and flows of the game doesn't matter. We're committed to Rob, and this is what we want. And so to knowing that commitment, we knew we had to go through the process, and they've been great.
Yeah, and then Karina, how important was it to get it done now as well?
Very important. Let me ask you how important it is. No, I mean, you look at the second half of the season, and we have so many games in August. We're looking at the CONCACAF championships, looking at regular season. You have Summer Cup, an opportunity for us to see so many of our players. So getting that period now, like this little window, is an opportunity for players to grow, but then us to reset going into the second half of the season. So I think the clarity for the players, the stability for the club, the vision and the way forward, this was the time. We didn't want to wait till the end of the season. Yeah, and just from the response for everybody, I think this was the right time. But it's been a process, and I just want to thank every coach that we went through this process with, because this is a club that was sought after by a lot of coaches. This is their dream jobs. And again, that's why I come back to, we went through the process, and that's how we know that he is our guy.
Yeah, and then for both of you, there's a lot of games left in this final stretch. How aggressive does this club need to be to catch the likes of Kansas City and Orlando, who are setting like record pace for points?
Yeah, I mean, look at the games. I think if you look at, since I've been in charge, if there was a league table, we would be second right now. Orlando are the only team that's got more points than us in that time. So we need that and a little bit more. And that's always the demand. And that's the expectation and the demand of the players, of the club, from the ownership, from ourselves as technical staff, and obviously for the fans who have been magnificent to me throughout this period. And we'll be relying on them to make this place a fortress. We know it's horrible to come here. We want to make it even worse. That connection between the staff, the players, the entire club, and the supporters is something truly special. And we're going to need all of us and all of the squad, because it is such a demanding league. It's a competitive league. It's hard to win games, as I've said before. And, you know, obviously we got off to a great running start with 6 in a row and creating some history, but it's not what you did for me yesterday in this business, right? It's what can we do this weekend against Tijuana, and how do we use this Summer Cup to develop and build with some of the players that have maybe not seen so many minutes, and tactically, how do we continue to evolve to push forward to make sure that we're a different proposition in the second half of the season than we were in the first.
And just to add to that, 26 of the 36 points we've had in the last games with him under the helm. We have a CONCACAF championships, like I just said, but, you know, it's not, okay, we've made the decision now. It's really, let's get down to business and hit that reset button. Not just the players, but our staff. You know, we're talking about the scout and recruiting. I mean, we have Carlos in the room. Like, this is a staff that's hardest working staff. I'm so proud of my staff. I mean, there's no stone left unturned. We have obviously the window coming up with the trade window. There's so many moving parts, but for us, it's now that you ask about the stability. That's why we needed to do it now, because we've had success, but that's the past. We need to restart. We need to learn from the past, but we have to make some changes as we move forward if we really want to win that championship this year.
Yeah, just speaking of the championship, obviously that's the the goal that the club sets every year. Do you guys foresee the team being aggressive this summer window as well?
I think Mackenzie Arnold is pretty aggressive. But yeah, I mean, this is one of the things is that it's competitive more than ever. It's a market where we know what we have. We're trying to get some of the best players here. I know you're trying to get me to say something, which I won't. But yeah, we're excited. We're excited about what we're bringing in and the types of players we're bringing in, the characters we're bringing in. You've seen players step up, and that's what is exciting about the Summer Cup. You're going to see a different lineup. You're going to see players playing with different partnerships, and this is what is exciting for us. Like, I know Rob will get to look at the players, but as well as the rest of the club ownership will get to see new people. So you're not going to get an answer from me, but yeah, we don't start looking at this window now. We've been looking at it since last year. So yeah.
And Karina, just a question with just the logjam of goalkeepers. Obviously, a lot of great goalkeepers in this team, but there's, it's gonna be really tough to find everyone minutes.
Yeah.
Have you just kind of thought about just the direction you guys going to go in that position?
Absolutely. I mean, one of the reasons why we have continued to sign goalkeepers is that we want to create a long-term strategy, right? Being a goalkeeper myself, I couldn't save a ball right now, but one of the things you do know is that when you play, and unfortunately you don't get 5-10 minutes in a game. So our plan is to get players minutes throughout the rest of the year, hopefully going into the next season, make sure that players who come back, they're ready to go, but they don't feel the pressure that they have to come back right now. But most importantly, not just look at now, but look at a long-term plan. So yeah, we're looking at loans, we're looking at putting players in different places so that everybody grows, but so that we're never in a situation where we don't have goalkeepers who haven't had minutes played, so that when they step into the NWSL, they're experienced and ready.
Yeah, and then Rob, I just would love to hear what that phone call from KK was like when you got the notice, and also what was it like sharing with your family who's been through this whole journey with you?
Yeah, awesome. Simply put, it was terrific. A bit of a relief. Thank you. It was a long process, daunting process, whilst also you're going to be up against the world's best, but I'll put myself up against anybody. The history I've had in the game, 20 years coaching experience, been to Youth World Cups, I've been in different roles. It's about connecting with people. It's about building a group, bringing people together, and the vision of the football club and Karina and Mike and everybody involved aligns with mine, aligns with my ambition and my vision. And then, yeah, to share that with Terry, Jack, Hayden, Ashlyn. We were in Crete at the time. They're actually in Venice still celebrating, having been on the European tour. I had to come back to work. But that's part of it. It's their success as well, because without them, I can't do what I do. The sacrifices that everybody's families make for us to be able to put in the hours that it takes to work for such a brand as ours and an organization and a football club of this size. It's so demanding on everybody, the family, and again, the staff. What I'm delighted about is with the club now, for Vita, Sarah, Jordan going forward, we're all committed. We are a coaching team very much, as you guys know. It's their success as well that I'm sitting here right now, as it is the players and everybody in the club. So yeah, it was a nice moment, and nice that we're actually all in one place to share it together. And I know they're proud, and hopefully I can continue to make the family back in England proud of everything we do.
Are there any more questions via Zoom? Please use the raise hand function. All right. Thank you all for joining us, and congratulations to both Karina and Rob.
Rob, woo!